Well, hello there, human tippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too, I hope you're as good as I am in current climate. I'm pretty happy with the world at the moment. I'm working very hard. I'm enjoying life, living large. I've got my girl back. She's been overseas a fair bit. I've settled in after a lot of overseas trips to Tank Fest and everything else. And I feel like I'm finally starting to catch up with the content creation side of the coin. Now, be that as it may, I do love me a good in-depth chat about tanking. And so this sunny Sunday afternoon, we've been to the swimming pool, I've gone to the gym, we've got mates coming over tonight, and I thought I'd just stop off and have a little chat about something that I've been meaning to get to. And it's about the frustration levels that you can find in the game. It's not about toxicity, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about frustration levels. And by that I mean, a lot of people will see me playing a tank, for instance, and I'll post up a 5,000 damage game and they'll be like, oh, tank must be amazing. And they'll get in the tank and the tank will suck for them. They won't be any good at it. And it's very much a situation where not all tanks are created equal. By that I mean, look at that IS-7. The IS-7 is very much point and click. It will fulfill a role by basically aiming it at the enemy. If you can go hull down, hide that lower glacis, that's it, you're done. There's not much that's going to pen you in the heavy lines, and you're going to have to be very, very unlucky to get penned on the turret. But look at this thing that I've got here, the Chieftain mk6. This is the kind of tank that is very, very high risk and reward. It has an outstanding gun. It has 10 degrees of gun depression, but as you can see, I've been hitting the side, and then someone gets above me and they're going to smash my hatch, and then I'm going to turret turn and they're going to hit my turret again, and things go a little bit wobbly and pear-shaped. We managed to hold on and tough it out. You can see my hatch is very, very weak on the right top side of the turret. Now, I understand this is a crate tank, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not a big fan of crates. I don't think crates are great. What I want to talk about is knowledge being power, and taking some of the ideas and concepts that you pick up in the game and running with them, rather than just blaming a tank because you're frustrated and you can't get the wins and all that. I also want to talk about a regression to the mean. Now, I get people all the time, mates of mine, who say, this is BS, matchmaking is rigged, I've just lost 15 of 20 games, this is crap, all that kind of thing. And that's fair enough. That is a frustrating enterprise. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to show you a couple of these things, actually. But at the same time, we don't talk about games in single allotments, or 5s, or 10s, or 50s, or even 100 games. We're talking nowadays about thousands of games, and over thousands of games you will receive the same matchmaking that everyone else receives. You will receive the same pros and cons. You will have periods where you will win 15 out of 20 and no one will then carry on like a pork chop and say, oh, it's not fair, the other team had all these noobs and they didn't know what they were doing and they hadn't played the game very long. And you get it from both ends, but people only tend to remember. It's called recency bias, right? If you've played for the day and you've had a horrible time for the day, then in your mind, the matchmaking is broken. If you've played for the day and you've won 75% of your games and averaged 2,500 damage in tier 9 or, God forbid, tier 8, then in your opinion, matchmaking is just fine and dandy. You don't really whinge about matchmaking then. Recency bias is a thing in all parts of life, and it's something that Blitz suffers from tremendously. But anyway, back to the original theme for this video, something that I was thinking about a little bit this week. If you know what a Chieftain mk6 can do, and you have a fair idea on how to play it, then you can be successful in the tank. If you don't know the strengths of the tank, then you're not going to do that well in it, because it's fragile, man. It's freaking fragile. You can see the gun's brilliant, but the hatches are... I just got splashed for 300 by a T95, and then I got hit for 630 by a T110E3, And that's because I left my hatch out in the rain and someone smashed it, and that was fully deserved on my part. And this goes for so many tanks, the Centurion 7 and Mark 1. Tanks that I love, and tanks which players who really know what they're doing tend to love, are tanks that you have to work hard to hide the negatives on, and then work hard to make the positives shine. And you can then be really richly rewarded. And it feels like the game is involved and in depth. It's one of the reasons why you won't find me playing a lot of IS-3 Defender and IS-5, and I don't feel like those tanks really take a whole lot of, they're just, like drive at the enemy, point the tank at the enemy, get really close with your massive big gun and do the business. This tank, you're trying to look at your angles. You're trying to make sure that the tank is not exposing that wafer-thin side. You're trying to make sure that you're peaking and using gun depression, but at the same time, not leaving the hatch out all the time and not jiggling and moving backwards and forwards. And you're going to decide, are you going to run calibrated shells for that extra value Hesh pen, and then I'm going to keep that T95 on the other side of that bit of brickwork, and I'm going to move around here and try and get that WZ120 between me and the T95 so that he can stop the T95 from getting a clear shot on me, because I don't have any kind of armor profile at the front that I can deal with the T95 with. I'm not an IS-7, I'm not an IS-4, I'm not a mouse. And you can see these are the things that go through your mind. And then I know I can out DPM this guy in the Chinese medium, and I know I can trade with the T95 and take a shot and still clear the tank. And these are the things that make me love the Chieftain mk6. That's a lot to take on and process. And by the way, we won that game, man. I did 5k. I was fuming, and I was like, how much damage do you have to do? And then I'm like, calm down. You know what? You did 5k. You did your job. Move forward, enjoy it. And then our WZ121 went hog and did 5k as well. And we had a 10k random top 2 who won the game. And matchmaking, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying matchmaking isn't broken. At times it absolutely is broken. What I'm saying is that for the most part, matchmaking is not responsible for people having poor win rates. Like this guy. This guy's a bad player, man. He's terrible. And he's going to drive a 268 intentionally across me. He wasn't doing it for any other reason. There's no way he's taking a 268 down the middle of the lane. He's just basically getting in my way for no reason from spawn, right? And you're going to see during the game, our Leopard 1, here we go. Our Leopard 1, what's he say here? All know who we should report. And he's right. We all know we should report the 268. He's been punishing everyone. And we look and we check on the 268, and he's an absolutely untrustworthy player and a general idiot. Or he could just be a really aggressive 5-year-old. I don't know, one way or another. But the thing is, I noticed that because I copped it. I was on the other end of it. No one on the red team went and said, gee, that Object 268's an idiot. I feel terrible for getting the win there. The red team just went, I need more stats, I need to do more damage, I'm going to get into it. And this is what I'm saying. And this is one of the reasons why playing a tank like the Centurion 7 and 1 or the Chieftain mk6 or the RU251 or the T71, these are tanks that can all do well, but they really require you to engage with the game. You can't just derp forward. It's one of the reasons why I really don't like the bloody Death Star. I really don't like the Death Star because it's the least thought required tank in the entire game. You sit at the back, you get one shot, you'll do 1,000 damage. You get 2 shots, you'll do 2,000 damage. I mean, for a lot of people, doing 2,000 damage as an average damage in tier 10 is really good. There's no one that grinds a tank like the Death Star and I mean, I've got mates that love the Death Star and play it all the time. Skate loves that thing. I mean, but you've seen me play this on stream. I mean, I played it again the other day on stream for people because you know, I was like, you're going to make me play the Tog? I'm going to punish you back by playing the Death Star. And I sat at the back and I did 3,700 and 5,500 in the first 2 games I played. That's like the 3rd time I've done that in that tank. You just sit at the back and you get rewarded for doing absolutely nothing. And yet you play finesse tanks like this that require you to be so deep into the game and where the enemy team is and read the spawns, and you get punished for even the slightest misstep like that by all these big TDs at tier 10, and it really does make the game more fun, like for me anyway, but that's obviously not for everyone. So guys, here's my thing. In the comments below, leave your tank that you find to be that beautiful blend of risk and reward, that beautiful blend of dynamic, engaged gameplay required for wonderful result that comes out the other end. And maybe we'll have a little look at those challenging tanks and talk through the pros, the cons, and why we love them. I'm not saying this is an underpowered tank. I'm just saying you need to use your brain to get the most out of it. And I want to apologise to the guys in this game because my son had been playing Fortnite mobile and he blew the battery on my iPad. And when I said hello, the battery died and I went AFK. So until next time, look after yourselves, guys. And as always, stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.